Hello friends! Today is December 7th and I'll show you how we have to plant raspberries unexpectedly on this day. Well, it didn't work out earlier. First, the plot was occupied, and second, we couldn't find Moravilla at a reasonable price. This is how it was sent to me. We literally just received it. Well, about an hour ago. And I mean that the conditions are favorable right now. Yesterday, the temperature was -3, and before that, it was -8 during the day. But nevertheless, the seedling had already been ordered, and we were preparing for the fact that we'd have to plant it in extreme conditions. For planting, trenches were prepared, about 1.5 buckets of good, high-quality compost per running meter, and about 30 to 40 grams of nitroammophosca, roughly a cup of it in total. About a cup of wood ash per running meter was also added, dug into a good depth and covered with plastic film, because I knew there would be frosts. And as I said, we might have to plant it in these kinds of extreme conditions. But today it's +3, and we're planting at a root depth of 20 centimeters. So that's how deep we're going. We measured the temperature there with a thermometer. It's +6, in some places 7, which is excellent. At 5 degrees, almost all plants, meaning shrubs and berry bushes, can calmly start developing their root systems. So let's take a look at what we've got, what condition the seedlings are in. Well, actually for remontant raspberries, this is Moravilla. I repeat, I consider these to be normal good seedlings. The only thing to note is that they should be soaked for a day. They are damp, but they weren't packed with wet sawdust as usual, or with a clay slurry. But there's another point. To fix this, when we plant them, we need to water them very generously so that the roots end up in mud. And then, the inherent moisture present within the mud will effectively serve precisely the same essential purpose as if we had meticulously soaked them thoroughly beforehand. Now let us thoughtfully move on to the next step. Let's check what condition it's in. Everything will thaw out, that is, under the film it's about 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. Experience shows that raspberries do well when the top layer, the row spacing, is at least 1.5 meters. About 1.6 meters. The distance between the rows is set, and within the row we plant a bit more densely, about 40 centimeters apart, though 60 is also possible. Since we need to have seedlings ready for sale by next autumn, we always try to plant them more densely. As you can see here, this soil contains about half compost. So the seedlings look like this. You see, their buds have already awakened, one and another. So once we plant them, they will start growing in the spring. Good young shoots can be pruned if necessary, but for this particular seedling, it's not really required since they're not that long, though it's not a bad idea to trim the tips a bit. We plant it just like it was growing before, but about 2 centimeters deeper. We try to make sure that the roots are not bent because otherwise they won't do well later on. Those particular components that are significantly bent upwards will absolutely not be able to function properly or effectively at all. We tamp the soil down a bit, since it will settle on its own after watering anyway. But this seedling doesn't need to be touched. Its roots aren't that long, so we do the same thing. Cover it up and gently tamp down the soil a bit. The same process. So, friends, that's the first row. We've planted 2 rows in total, and now we'll water them. I always try to use cornevin or other rooting stimulators, and right now it's especially good to use whatever rooting agent you have on hand, like Zeleni Gay. You can use cornevin or any product that promotes root formation, 15 to 20 grams per bucket of water. Mix it well, and then water with this solution. As we've already mentioned, since we made little holes, you need to water right in the holes where we've planted our seedlings. That way the precious water will be utilized most efficiently and effectively. So once again, it is incredibly important that a substantial amount of mud forms and accumulates there. If any of you have the opportunity later on, yes, after we water for the first time, we'll definitely do a follow-up watering as a check. And of course, for better overwintering for that purpose, later on, to retain moisture during the summer, we usually mulch. We mulch in thick layers. When the snow falls, it will press it down and it will become about 1.5 to 2 centimeters thick. New shoots will easily break through it. That's all, friends, that I wanted to share with you in this short video about what to do when you're in a hopeless situation. Until we meet again, all the best to you, peace and good health.